Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this special interview with the Chancellor of Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University, His Excellency Dr. Mansour Al-Awar. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, our next category is rather, it's not controversial, but quite the trend nowadays, since it is still present. May, of course, our viewers watch it one day when it is over. COVID-19 and the university's role during this global crisis. It's a crisis that exposed the fragility of systems, the fragility of countries and nations and even individuals. And there is a saying that if you want to harvest, you need to plow your field. How ready were you, and how would you describe your experience in this crisis?
Unlike what you expect from people to say about COVID-19, we at Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University, we are welcoming the Corona and COVID-19 because it opened up the dialogue in global society about distance learning and online learning.
You mean to say that it eliminated geographical difficulties and made us closer?
Because people were reluctant to accept the concept of online learning in the first place. Mm-hmm. Everything was normal. Everything was okay. And the distance learning, smart learning, online learning was a subsidy that the people who cannot do it regularly.
I believe
we were saying the smart learning is the future. He said, no, it's only in certain areas. COVID-19 proved that even distance learning, online learning could be done in the most difficult disciplines, like a medicine, like an engineering, that people who claim that we cannot do it, they did it at the end. So we are welcoming the COVID-19 in that sense, that opened up the eyes of the society on the beauty of a smart learning, of individualization of learning for the kids. My grandkids, I asked them, I said, are you happy with this remote work? He says, Grandpa, I'm quite happy. I said, how? He said, well, the teachers give us a problem. I do it, I just did it in seconds. And then I go to Minecraft and play my own, and while the rest are catching up. So it's individualized. So even the kids did discover the beauty of this concept. But now, Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University, because of the vision of His Highness in 2001, we were able to provide the survival kit for our country, United Arab Emirates, and the Ministry of Education.
I want to get into, please put a hold on the survival kit, because there is something about that. But before that, this is not an interrogation, but Your Excellency, be an online tutor in 24 hours, making it available in 5 languages, English, Russian, French, Spanish, in addition to Arabic as well. I mean, how and why, and what was the impact?
We first started with Arabic and English language, with coordination with the Ministry of Education, His Excellency the Minister of Education. And it went across like a viral. And at one point in time, His Excellency, the Minister of Education, he has WhatsApped me. They said the number increasing of registration of the teachers across the United Arab Emirates, both in public and private schools, are much more rapidly growing than the figures in Corona. So that was the impact on people because everybody, I mean, things came at one point in time as a shock, because people, they have to go back home. No schools, no buildings. So we provide a survival kit. And that is why a lot of people from the media talk to me saying, are you going to get those teachers and people to do it in 24 hours? I said, no. If a person is drowning, you just provide a survival kit to them, not to teach them how to swim when they are drowning.
You didn't give them fish. You taught them how to fish.
How to fish, and then to survival. I need the education to continue, to sustain the continuity of the education system. And today, with the 5 languages, we had 1,315 registration on our 2 courses, with more than 100 countries.
Doctor, you had Google, Facebook, Huawei, and the Commonwealth as well. And they all joined the Commonwealth of Learning. They all joined to provide modern knowledge and educational resources that support the UNESCO's effort to enhance the quality of education and promote human development globally around the world, which means you didn't only provide for the betterment of the youth over here, but you spread your hand globally outside. Now, what are the main pillars and features of this unique experience?
This was, Yusuf, the direction we learned this from our leadership in this country, United Arab Emirates. During the COVID-19, the United Arab Emirates and its leadership provided all the medical support to whoever wants it and want the help. So education was one of those sectors. So the coalition that been formed by UNESCO, we were the only Arab university into this coalition, with the giants that you have already mentioned the names. So we provided, first of all, a survival kit again to the world. More than 1 billion, students and children been out of the schools because of COVID-19.
Allow me to say this because the idea of the implementation of this process, they say when an emergency happens in the plane, you should put on your mask first.
Absolutely.
And then to the guy next to you.
Yes.
You've done the opposite. You've actually helped those outside even more.
No. We have done, because first of all, we as HBMSU, we did our mask on our head for the last 18 years. So we were in good health situation that we can provide for everyone. We started with our own country, and then we left behind because of the action of our leadership in this country. So we provide as much as we can. This survival kit belongs to the humanity. It doesn't belong just only to the United Arab Emirates. That's what we have been taught by our leadership.
Well answered. Let's talk about something very sacred. The university's campus. The second home of a student. You can say the mosque and the church at the same time. Now, you have something called the My Smart Hub, in which the university has, of course, through its smart campus, in terms of enriching the learner's online learning experience in line with the requirements of the digital world. How much difference did that make in the middle of this crisis and the middle of this mitigation to a smart world of learning?
Actually, we have created something called a smart campus a long time back. A smart campus, it has to resemble some of the campuses on the real life. Because in the real life, people just only go to classes. They mingle with each other. They socialize with each other. My Smart Hub is one of those social gathering, social connection, social communication between all of our learners, from their hobbies, from their assignments, from their research groups. And I think it provided them kind of a social connectivity, if it is right to say so. And these are one of the social innovations that I would always consider, because the advancement of technology needs us to come up with more social innovations. So My Smart Hub was one of those social innovations in this university to get connectivity at the rising side.
Your Excellency, consider the following analogy. Education is a race, and the race is between nations all around the world. But this race is different. This is the kind of race you see in video games where the terrain is constantly changing. What has happened in COVID, the terrain became muddy, it became dangerous. Someone may trip and not continue to race. But in this race, you're going to have to look back and try to help those who have fallen behind to stand back up and continue that race. You can't leave someone behind uneducated. And this is where the question comes. What is the university's role in supporting the move of the Association of the Arab Universities to strengthen a joint Arab action to develop higher education in this 21st century?
I think it's a good question. First of all, there's been a saying in the West. I mean, they said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. We would say ignorance is expensive.
Some say ignorance is a bliss.
Is expensive, but education should not be so.
Ooh.
That is why when we entered the global community, we offered those two courses free of charge as a part of our CSR. So that's not questionable. So if we did this to the whole world, the Arab world is within the world. They're not stepping aside. But yet, they are our closest neighbor, our own identity as Arabs. We and the Arab Associations of Universities, we launched a joint seminar, first one, and attended by thousands of faculties around the Arab world. How the smart learning on universities will be conducted. What are the practical approaches that you need to take? Not to teach them, to guide them, to help them, because of our healthy mask that we were on in the beginning. So, and now, in the consortia that we have talked about just in previous one, the Arab Association of Universities are members with the consortia of the benchmarking and set data, of the ranking. The Assistant Secretary General on a technical team is sitting there. So I think this is a noble cause, Yusuf, a noble cause for humanity. So we deal with our colleagues around the world and with the brothers in the Arab world.
Beautifully said and answered, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, this shows the end of this current category of our promising interview of how the university has dealt and adapted with a global crisis called COVID-19. But stay tuned. His Excellency is not going anywhere and will be joining us with other episodes with no less important categories. Stay tuned.